There is a secret story written in the marrow of your bones. A story you have been living every day of your life, but one you were never meant to consciously remember. It is the story of a division, a splitting, a primordial heartbreak that happened long before your first breath, before your heart was ever broken by another human being. It is the source of the nameless longing that has been the quiet, constant companion of your life. The feeling that a part of you is missing. The endless, restless search for a person, a place, or a purpose that will finally make you feel whole. The hidden voice in your head has given this feeling many names: loneliness, codependency, neediness. But it has never told you the truth. That feeling is not a weakness. It is a memory. You were split in two before you were born. And understanding this will explain everything. If you have ever felt this phantom ache of a missing self, if you are ready to finally understand the sacred origin of your deepest longing, then take a slow, deep breath. We are about to journey back, before time, to the moment of the great separation. Subscribe and join this circle of remembrance, because the path to wholeness does not lie in finding your other half. It lies in remembering you are both. Part 1. The phantom limb of the soul. Let us begin by sitting with the ache. Let us give it our full, undivided, loving attention, perhaps for the very first time. For too long you have tried to outrun it, to numb it, to fill it. Tonight we will simply be with it. We will honor it as a sacred messenger. Feel it in your body now. It is not a dramatic, screaming pain. It is a quiet, background hum of incompleteness. A subtle, pervasive sense that you are not all here. It is the phantom limb of the soul. Amputee feels, with vivid reality, the presence of a limb that is no longer there. In the same way, you have moved through your entire life feeling the ghostly presence of a part of yourself that seems to be missing. You have searched for this missing part everywhere. You have searched for it in the eyes of another. This is the root of the romantic quest. You meet someone, and for a blissful, intoxicating moment, the ache subsides. Their presence seems to fill your inner void. Their energy seems to complete your own. You look at them and think, there you are. I have been looking for you my whole life. You call it love, soulmate, my other half. And for a time, it feels like you have finally found the missing piece of the puzzle. You have come home. But then, inevitably, the illusion begins to fade. The other person reveals themselves to be just that, another person with their own flaws, their own wounds, their own incompleteness. They cannot be your missing half because they are not whole themselves. The old, familiar ache begins to return, perhaps even stronger now, accompanied by a new layer of disappointment, of betrayal. The hidden voice, the narrator of the ego's drama, then tells you a new story: you chose the wrong person. The search must continue. And so you move on, from one partner to the next, forever searching for a reflection that can make you feel whole, never realizing you are searching for a part of yourself. You have searched for it in purpose. You have thrown yourself into your career, into a cause, into raising a family. You have sought to build something in the outer world that would fill the empty space within. You achieve a goal, you get the promotion, you receive the accolades. And for a moment there is a feeling of fullness, of meaning. But it is fleeting. In the quiet moments after the applause has faded, in the stillness of your own home, the ache returns. The phantom limb still tingles. The feeling of purpose was just another temporary distraction from the feeling of incompleteness. You have searched for it in places. You move to a new city, a new country, believing that a change of scenery will finally quell the restlessness of your soul. And the novelty of the new place works for a while. New sights, new sounds, new experiences. But once the novelty wears off and you are left alone with yourself, there it is again. The same familiar ache, the same quiet hum of longing, now with a different backdrop outside your window. You realize, with a sinking feeling, that you have brought the one thing you were trying to escape along with you, yourself. This lifelong, fruitless search is the human condition. It is the great spiritual drama. But it is based on a false premise. The premise is that the missing part is outside of you. The premise is that it is a person, a place, or an achievement that you must find. The truth that was buried, the truth that will set you free from this exhausting search, is that the one you are looking for is not outside of you. They are inside of you. You are not missing a half. You are a whole that has been conditioned to believe it is a half. And the ache is the memory of your own forgotten wholeness, calling you to turn your search inward. Part 2. The primordial myth, the androgynous soul. To understand the origin of this split, we must leave the realm of personal psychology and enter the timeless realm of myth. For there are some truths so profound, so ancient, that they can only be conveyed through a story. The most powerful story of our primordial split was told by the Greek philosopher Plato, in his dialogue, The Symposium. Let us enter this story as if it were a dream, a memory from our own collective soul. In the beginning, Plato tells us human beings were not as we are now. We were different. We were round. We had 4 arms, 4 legs, 2 faces on a single head, looking in opposite directions. And we had 2 sets of reproductive organs. There were 3 sexes then, the male who was a child of the sun, the female who was a child of the earth, and the androgynous who was a child of the moon, and who partook of both the male and the female. These original humans were creatures of immense power. Their strength and their ambition were so great that they made an attempt to scale the heavens and attack the gods. The gods, in their council, were in a quandary. They did not want to destroy the humans with thunderbolts as they had the titans, because then there would be no one left to offer them worship and sacrifice. But they could not allow their hubris to go unchecked. And so Zeus, the king of the gods, came up with a solution. He said, "I have a plan that will stop their insolence and improve their manners. I will cut them in 2. And so he did. He sliced each of the round 8-limbed beings in half, like you would slice an apple. And once he had cut them, he asked the god Apollo to turn their faces around to the side of the cut, so that each half, seeing their own wound, might be humbled. And he told Apollo to heal the wound, pulling the skin together at the center of the belly, creating what we now know as the navel, a permanent physical reminder of our ancient separation. Now, from that moment on, each half, filled with a desperate longing for its other half, began to search for it. And when they would find each other, they would throw their arms around one another and embrace and try to grow back together again. They would cling so tightly, filled with such a desperate love and longing for their original holiness, that they would often perish from hunger and inaction, because they would do nothing without their other half. This, Plato says, is the origin of our innate desire for love. It is not just a desire for companionship or procreation. It is the desire of the separated parts for their original, primordial unity. It is the ache of the half for its whole. And so, he concludes, when a person meets the other half of themselves, the actual half of themselves, the pair are lost in an amazement of love and friendship and intimacy, and one will not be out of the other's sight, as I may say, even for a moment. This is not just a charming myth. It is a profound esoteric teaching about the nature of the soul. It tells us that before we incarnated into these separate, gendered male and female bodies, our soul nature was androgynous, whole, complete. It contained both the masculine and the feminine principles in perfect, unified balance. The split was the act of incarnation itself. It was the act of our boundless androgynous soul choosing to project a part of itself into a polarized, dualistic reality, into a male or a female form. And in doing so, we were forced to leave a part of our own totality behind, in the unseen realm of spirit. And so we walk through the world with this phantom limb, this sacred ache. We are haunted by the memory of our own lost half. The feeling of being out of place is the feeling of being a half, living in a world of other halves, all unconsciously searching for the wholeness they have forgotten exists inside them. Part 3. The Echoes of the Other, the twin flame phenomenon. The myth of the split provides a powerful framework for understanding one of the most intense, compelling and often painful phenomena of the human spiritual journey, the encounter with the twin flame. You have been moving through your life, carrying your sacred ache. You have searched for your missing half in a series of partners, but the ache always returns. And then one day you meet them. The encounter is not like any other. It is not just attraction. It is not just chemistry. It is an explosion of recognition. The moment your eyes meet, a silent thunderclap goes off in your soul. The hidden voice of your mind is stunned into silence. And a deeper voice, the voice of your soul, screams, "There you are. Finally." The feeling is one of returning home after a long and weary exile. Every part of your being seems to sigh in relief. The conversation is effortless. It feels like you are just continuing a dialogue that has been going on for centuries. You know them on a level that defies logic and time. Being with them feels more real than anything you have ever experienced. The sacred ache for the first time completely vanishes. You feel whole. You feel complete. You feel seen in a way you have never been seen before. This is the classic twin flame experience. It is so powerful because it is a direct, external reflection of your own inner state. You have not just met another person. You have met a soul who is vibrating at the precise, complementary frequency of your own soul's missing half. They are the externalized embodiment of the part of you that was split off before birth. If you are predominantly in a masculine energy body, you have likely just met the embodiment of your own divine feminine counterpart and vice versa. They are your perfect mirror. And this is where the journey becomes perilous. Because mirrors show you everything. After the initial phase of blissful union and recognition, the mirroring begins in earnest. The twin flame, because they are your perfect energetic counterpart, will trigger every single one of your unhealed wounds, your deepest fears, your most repressed shadow aspects. And you will do the same for them. All the parts of you that you have hidden in your basement are brought to the surface by their presence. Your fear of abandonment, your control issues, your feelings of unworthiness. The relationship becomes a crucible, a fiery alchemy of transformation. It is often marked by intense cycles of union and separation, of ecstatic love and agonizing pain. The hidden voice of the ego calls this a toxic relationship. It says, "This is too painful. This person is hurting me. I need to get away." But the soul understands, on some level, that this is the great work in hyperdrive. The twin flame is not here to make you happy in the conventional sense. They are not here to complete you. They are here to shatter you. They are here to act as a merciless mirror, reflecting back to you everything within yourself that is not yet whole, everything within yourself that is not yet love, so that you can see it, heal it, and integrate it. The great trap of the twin flame journey is the same trap as the romantic quest, but amplified 1,000 times. It is the belief that the other person is your source of wholeness. It is to become addicted to their presence as the only cure for your sacred ache. It is to place the responsibility for your own salvation in their hands. The forgotten truth, the truth that can liberate you from the agonizing push and pull of this dynamic, is that the twin flame is a catalyst, not a destination. They are a signpost pointing you back to the real work. Their purpose is to activate the memory of your own inner wholeness so profoundly that you are finally forced to stop searching for it outside, and to begin the sacred, alchemical work of finding it inside. They are here to remind you of your own missing half, so that you can finally turn inward and embrace them yourself. Part 4. The anima, the animus, and the syzygy. This concept of an inner, gendered counterpart is not just a poetic myth or a modern spiritual idea. It is a cornerstone of depth psychology and a hidden truth within our mystical traditions. The great Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, came to this same truth through his own empirical exploration of the human psyche. Jung discovered that the psyche is naturally androgynous. Every man has within his unconscious, a contrasexual inner personality, a feminine energy, which Jung termed the anima. The anima is the man's soul image, the archetype of the divine feminine. She carries all the qualities he has often repressed in himself in order to conform to a masculine ideal. His feeling nature, his intuition, his creativity, his capacity for relatedness. A man's relationship with his inner anima will determine his relationship with all the outer women in his life. If his anima is unconscious and repressed, he will project her onto the women he meets, expecting them to carry his soul for him. He will fall in love not with the real woman, but with the projection of his own missing feminine self. Likewise, every woman has, within her unconscious, a masculine inner personality, which Jung termed the animus. The animus is the woman's soul image of the divine masculine. He carries the qualities she may have repressed: her logic, her assertiveness, her will, her ability to build structures in the outer world. If her animus is unconscious, she will project him, searching for a man to be her rock, her provider of direction and meaning. The goal of Jungian individuation, the process of becoming a whole, integrated self, is to make this inner figure conscious. It is the work of a man withdrawing his projections from outer women and developing a conscious, loving relationship with his own inner anima. It is the work of a woman withdrawing her projections and developing a conscious relationship with her own inner animus. This inner dialogue, this inner marriage, is what leads to true psychological maturity and wholeness. Jung saw this as the central task of the second half of life. This psychological model is a perfect parallel to the metaphysical myth of the split. The anima/animus is the echo of your lost other half, living within your own subconscious. The falling in love that Plato described is the projection of this inner figure onto an outer person. And the great work of Hermeticism is the same as the great work of Jungian individuation. The inner alchemical wedding, the hieros gamos, the conscious union of the masculine and feminine principles within the crucible of a single human soul. This idea is also found hidden in the esoteric heart of the spiritual traditions. The Gnostic Gospels speak of the syzygy, a term meaning a divine pair or a coupled union. They believed that each soul in the higher realms existed as a male-female pair, a syzygy, and that upon falling into the material world they were separated. The goal of salvation was to be reunited with one's angelic counterpart, one's twin spirit. In the Kabbalah, the Jewish mystical tradition, the Godhead itself is described as having both masculine and feminine aspects, which must be in a state of harmonious union for the divine energy to flow into the world. In the East, the Hindu deities Shiva and Shakti represent this same cosmic polarity, Shiva as pure, formless consciousness, the masculine, and Shakti as the dynamic, creative, manifest energy, the feminine. The entire universe is seen as the love play, the dance between these two. Liberation is achieved when the Shakti energy within the individual, the Kundalini, rises up to unite with the Shiva consciousness in the crown of the head. The story is the same, told in 1,000 different languages across 1,000 different cultures. You are a whole that is dreaming it is a half. And the journey of your life is the journey of remembering your own inner completeness. The authorities, both ancient and modern, do not point you outward. They all, in the end, point you inward. Part 5. The Great Misunderstanding. We stand now at a critical turning point. We have unearthed the myth, we have felt its echo in our own lives, we have seen it validated by the deepest psychological and mystical traditions. We understand the diagnosis: we were split in two before birth. And it is this very understanding that sets the most beautiful and dangerous trap of the entire spiritual path. The trap is the Great Misunderstanding. It is the interpretation of this knowledge by the ego. The hidden voice, upon hearing this story, does not find peace. It finds a new and even more compelling quest. It says, aha, so it's true. My other half is out there somewhere. The myth proves it. The twin flame phenomenon proves it. I must find them. My life's purpose is to find my twin flame, my other half, and then finally, I will be whole and my suffering will end. This is the great romantic trap, now given a high-frequency spiritual justification. It is the ego hijacking a sacred metaphysical truth and turning it into the ultimate search for external validation. It launches countless souls on a desperate, often agonizing search for a savior, in the form of a perfect partner. They spend years pining for someone, often someone who is unavailable or with whom they are in a painful dynamic, believing that this person holds the key to their own wholeness. They put their own life, their own spiritual evolution on hold, waiting for the other half to wake up, or come back, so that their real life can begin. This is the most subtle and heartbreaking form of giving your power away. It is to misunderstand the entire message of the myth. The myth of the split, the appearance of the twin flame, is not meant to send you on an outer search. It is meant to be the catalyst that finally, definitively, ends the outer search. It is meant to give you such a powerful, undeniable taste of your own forgotten wholeness, as reflected by the other, that you finally realize that what you are looking for can only, and has only ever been, found within. The other person was never the destination. They were the messenger. They were the signpost. They were a living, breathing, often painful reminder of the magnificent being that lives inside of you. Their job was to activate the memory. Your job is to do the work of embodying it. This is the moment of true spiritual sovereignty. It is the moment you stop waiting to be completed and you start the work of completing yourself. If you are ready to make this pivotal shift, to turn from the outer search to the inner reunion, then make a conscious choice. Click the like button. Let it be a declaration of your own wholeness. A signal that you are taking back your power from all your outer projections. By sharing this, you are helping to free others from the romantic trap and pointing them back to the only place true union can ever be found: within. Now let's be clear. This does not mean that you cannot have a profound, beautiful, soul-level relationship with another person, even your twin flame. You absolutely can. But a sacred relationship can only be born when two whole individuals come together, not to complete each other, but to share their completeness. The prerequisite for a divine outer union is a successful inner union. You must first marry yourself. You must first become the lover and the beloved to your own soul. Only then can you meet another, not as a needy half, but as a sovereign whole, ready to dance in the fires of love without getting burned. Part 6. The Alchemical Wedding, Marrying Your Own Soul. We now begin the great work. We begin the most sacred, most intimate, and most transformative journey a human being can undertake, the journey of inner reunion. The alchemists called this the hieros gamos, the sacred, chemical wedding. It is the conscious union of the divided principles within your own soul. It is the process of making yourself whole again. This is not a metaphor. It is a tangible, energetic practice. You must become a loving and devoted partner to the part of yourself you have left in the shadows. For most of a man's life, he has lived from his masculine energy, logic, action, will. He has repressed his feminine soul, his anima. For most of a woman's life, she may have lived from her feminine energy, feeling, receptivity, being. She may have repressed her masculine soul, her animus. The work is to bring the exiled one home. Let us imagine this as a courtship. You must begin to date your own soul. How does this work in practice? First, you must create a space for your inner beloved to emerge. Your life is likely filled with the noise and activity of your dominant function. You are busy doing, thinking, planning. Your inner counterpart cannot be heard in this chaos. You must create intentional pockets of silence and receptivity. This could be through meditation, through spending quiet time in nature, through journaling, through listening to music that touches your soul. You must create a sacred space, an inner temple, and invite your missing half to meet you there. Second, you must learn to listen. This is a new kind of listening. It is not listening with the ears but with the heart. It is listening for the subtle language of your soul, the language of intuition, of feeling, of synchronicity, of dreams. Begin a practice of asking your inner beloved for guidance. Before you make a decision, instead of just running it through your logical mind, pause. Become still. And ask inward, my soul, my beloved, what is your wisdom on this? What do you feel? And then listen. The answer may not come in words. It may come as a gut feeling, a sense of expansion or contraction, a sudden image, a deep sense of knowing. You must learn to trust this subtle, nonlinear guidance more than the loud, insistent voice of your egoic mind. Third, you must honor what you hear. If your soul whispers that you need rest, you must have the courage to cancel your plans and rest, even if the logical mind calls you lazy. If your soul whispers that you need to paint or sing or dance, you must make time for that creative expression, even if the logical mind says it's unproductive. If your soul whispers that a certain relationship is draining your life force, you must find the courage to create distance, even if the logical mind is afraid of being alone. To honor your soul's voice is to build trust with your inner beloved. You are demonstrating, through your actions, that you are finally listening. You are finally taking them seriously. And as you do, their voice will become stronger, clearer, more consistent. Finally, you must engage in a conscious dialogue. This can be done through journaling. You can write letters to your inner beloved. You can ask them questions. Who are you? What do you need from me? What parts of me have I neglected? And then, you switch hands or simply allow the answers to flow onto the page without censorship. You will be astonished at the wisdom, the pain, the poetry, the power that emerges from this disowned part of yourself. This is the courtship. It is a process of turning your loving attention inward. You are, in effect, becoming the perfect partner you have always been searching for outside. You are giving yourself the unconditional presence, the deep listening, the profound honor that you once projected onto others. And as you do this, a slow, beautiful, and miraculous alchemy begins to happen. The war between the masculine and feminine within you begins to cease. The two halves, so long separated, begin to dance together. They begin to trust each other. They begin to merge. This is the sacred wedding. And its fruit is a new kind of human being, the individuated, sovereign, and whole self. Part 7. The Inner Beloved, a guided journey of reunion. Let us move now from the conceptual to the experiential. Let us undertake a short, guided journey to meet this inner counterpart. For they are not an idea. They are a living presence waiting for you in the inner landscape of your own soul. I invite you to find a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take 3 slow, deep breaths. With each exhale, let go of the outer world. Let go of the room around you. Let go of the day behind you. And let go of the day ahead of you. Come home to this present moment. Come home to yourself. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine a beautiful, safe, and sacred inner space. It can be whatever you wish. A quiet forest clearing. A sun-drenched beach at twilight. A library filled with ancient, silent books. A temple in the mountains. This is your inner sanctuary. A place where you are completely safe, completely at peace. Take a moment to furnish this space with your senses. See the quality of the light. Hear the sounds of silence. Smell the air. Feel the ground beneath you. This is your space. Now, in the center of this sacred space, you become aware of a presence. At first, it is just a feeling, a shimmer in the air. But as you watch with a soft, receptive gaze, a figure begins to take shape. This is your inner beloved. Your divine counterpart. The one who holds the energy you have disowned. Do not try to force an image. Let the image arise naturally. It may be a human figure, male or female. It may be an animal, a guide. It may be a being of pure light. It may be a younger version of yourself. Trust what appears. This is your soul, communicating with you in its own symbolic language. Now, simply be with this being. You do not need to say anything yet. Just look at them. And let them look at you. In their eyes you will not find judgment. You will not find disappointment. You will find only an infinite, unconditional, and patient love. A love that has been waiting for you your entire life for you to turn around and see it. Feel that love washing over you, healing the ancient ache of separation. Now, I invite you to ask a question from your heart. Silently. Simply ask, what is the message you have for me right now? And then just listen. Be completely open and receptive. The answer may come in words, in a feeling, in an image, or just a deep, silent knowing. Do not doubt what you receive. Trust the first thing that comes. It may be a message of comfort. It may be a message of challenge. It may be a single word. It may be a profound silence. Whatever it is, receive it as a gift. Now ask another question. What is it that you need from me? Listen again. Perhaps the answer is your attention. Perhaps it is your trust. Perhaps it is your creativity. Perhaps it is your courage. This is your soul telling you what it needs from you to come into balance, to become whole. Finally, I want you to perform an act of sacred union. In your imagination, reach out and take the hand of this being. Or, if it feels right, step forward and embrace them. And as you do, imagine that their light, their energy, their essence begins to merge with your own. You are not absorbing them. They are not absorbing you. You are dissolving into each other. The two are becoming one. The split is being healed. Feel the sensation of this inner reunion. It may feel like warmth, like peace, like a quiet joy, like a profound sense of completeness. This is the feeling of your own wholeness. This is the feeling of coming home. Stay with this feeling for as long as you like. Know that you can return to this sacred space, and to this beloved presence, anytime you wish. They are not going anywhere. They're you. When you are ready, gently begin to bring your awareness back to your physical body. Feel the chair beneath you. Hear the sounds of the room around you. And when you feel ready, slowly, gently open your eyes, bringing the feeling of this inner wholeness back with you into the world. Part 8. Healing the primal wound. Beyond the myth of two, we have journeyed far on this path of reunion. We have explored the myth of the split, and we have undertaken the sacred inner marriage to heal it. And yet, there is one final layer to this mystery. One final veil to be lifted. For the journey of healing the split between the masculine and feminine within is a necessary and profound stage. But it is not the ultimate destination. The myth of the split, as beautiful and useful as it is still a story taking place in the world of duality. It is a story of two. The two halves, the two principles, the two lovers. But the ultimate truth of our being is not two. It is one. The primal wound is not actually that you were split in two. The primal wound, the source of all suffering, is that you believe you were ever separate from the one, from source, from God in the first place. The split between masculine and feminine is a secondary wound, a symptom of that first, primordial forgetting. Imagine the one infinite, formless ocean of consciousness. This is the ultimate reality. In order to experience itself, this one ocean dreams up a multitude of waves. Each wave is a unique soul. Now, to make the game of experience even more interesting, many of these waves dream that they are split in two, a masculine half and a feminine half. This creates the beautiful and painful drama of seeking and reunion that drives so much of our human story. The work of integrating your inner masculine and feminine is the work of the wave becoming whole again. It is a profound and necessary healing. It is the journey from feeling like a half wave to feeling like a complete wave. But even a complete wave is still, on some level, identified as a wave separate from the ocean. The final step of the journey, the ultimate liberation, is for the whole wave to relax back into the ocean from which it came, and to realize that it was never just a wave. It was, and is, and always will be the entire, boundless, magnificent ocean itself. This is the collapse of the final duality, the duality between the soul and God. It is the realization that you are not a creation of God. You are God, experiencing itself as a creation. When you reach this level of understanding, the entire story of the split, of the twin flame, of the search, is seen in a new light. It was all a divine play. A sacred drama that the one created to have the adventure of forgetting itself, and the joy of remembering itself. You see that your deepest heartbreak, your most profound longing, was not a cosmic mistake. It was a perfectly designed part of the curriculum. The ache of separation was the engine that drove you on the journey back to the recognition of your own oneness. From this ultimate perspective, you are already whole. You have always been whole. You can never be anything but whole. Your feeling of being a half was just a thought, a story, a temporary contraction of your own infinite awareness. So now you can hold the myth of the split lightly. You can honor it as a beautiful and powerful tool that helped you on your journey. But you are no longer bound by it. You no longer need to find your other half, either inside or out, because you know that you are the wholeness that contains all halves. You are the space in which the entire dance of masculine and feminine, of separation and union, is taking place. You are at peace. The search is over. You have arrived at the place you never left. Part 9. Life as a whole being, the sacred union with the world. What does it mean to walk through the world from this place of ultimate wholeness? When the inner marriage is complete, and you have begun to remember your identity as the ocean itself, your entire relationship with reality transforms. You no longer operate from a place of lack, from a place of seeking. You operate from a place of fullness, of overflow. Your relationships change profoundly. You no longer look to another person to be your other half. You are already whole. Therefore, you are free to love them without need, without expectation, without the heavy burden of asking them to complete you. Your love becomes a gift you give freely, not a debt you are trying to collect. You see the other person not as a missing piece of your puzzle, but as another whole universe, sacred and complete in their own right. And in the space between your two wholenesses, a new kind of love is possible. A love that is not about merging to fill a void, but about two suns shining side by side, celebrating each other's light. Your work in the world changes. You are no longer driven by the hungry ghost of ambition, the need to prove your worth through external accomplishment. Your worth is inherent, unshakable. And so your work becomes play. It becomes an art form. It becomes the joyful, effortless expression of your unique gifts. You do what you do not to get something, not for money, not for fame, not for validation, but for the sheer, simple joy of the creative energy flowing through you. You become a conduit for the divine intelligence to express itself in the world. And paradoxically, when you are no longer chasing success, it often begins to chase you. You develop a new relationship with your own body. You see it not as a male or female body, but as an androgynous vessel of light, containing both energies. You honor its strength and its softness, its capacity for action and its capacity for rest. You listen to its wisdom. Becomes your sacred partner, your earthbound temple, the alchemical vessel for your soul's journey. And your relationship with life itself becomes a sacred marriage. You embrace all of it. The light and the dark. The joy and the pain. The success and the failure. You see it all as the play of your beloved, the dance of the one consciousness. You no longer resist the difficult moments because you know that they are just as much a part of the wholeness as the easy moments. You have made peace with the polarities. You have married the world. To live as a whole being is to live in a state of quiet, profound, and unshakable peace. The frantic search is over. The sacred ache has been transformed, not into a feeling of being full, but into a feeling of being open. The emptiness is no longer a void to be feared, but a sacred space of infinite potential. You are a walking, talking embodiment of the healed paradox. You are the union of heaven and earth, of spirit and matter, of masculine and feminine. You are the living stone of the philosophers. And your very presence begins to heal the world around you, because you are a living reminder to every half you meet of the wholeness that lies sleeping within them. Part 10. The Epiphany. The split was an act of love, and now, from this high plateau of wholeness, we can look back on the entire journey, back to the primordial moment of the split, and we can finally understand it. We can finally see the ultimate, mind-shattering, heart-healing truth. The original split was not a tragedy. It was not a punishment from an angry God. It was not a cosmic mistake. The splitting of the original androgynous soul into two was the ultimate act of love. It was the one in its infinite unconditional love for itself, choosing to perform the most daring act of creation imaginable. It was the one saying, I know myself as perfect, blissful, undifferentiated unity. But I love myself so much that I wish to know myself in a new way. I wish to know the joy of reunion. I wish to know the sweetness of longing. I wish to know the courage of a heart that breaks and dares to love again. And to know this, I must first know separation. And so, the one, out of a love beyond our comprehension, split itself. It created the illusion of two, so that it could experience the divine game of one seeking one and finding one. The entire drama of human love, of soulmates, of twin flames, of the sacred ache, has been a play that God wrote, directed, and starred in for the sole purpose of feeling the ecstatic joy of coming home to itself. Your life, with all its heartbreak and all its longing, has not been a mistake. It has been a sacred love story. The most important love story ever told. Your feeling of being an incomplete half was the necessary precondition for the joy of discovering your own wholeness. The person who broke your heart was not your enemy. They were a divine actor, playing their part perfectly to shatter your ego so that your soul could remember itself. Your loneliness was not a curse. It was the sacred emptiness, the hollow of the reed flute, that made you yearn for the breath of the beloved. This is the final alchemy. It is the transmutation of all your pain into profound, cosmic gratitude. You look back on every moment of your failed search, on every tear you ever shed for your missing half, and you see that it was all part of the perfect, loving, intelligent design. It was all leading you, step by painful step, back to this moment, back to this realization. You are not a victim of the split. You are the split and you are the reunion. You are the lover, you are the beloved, and you are the love that flows between them. The entire play of duality has been happening within the boundless, unified theater of your own being. And with this final recognition, the last and most subtle separation dissolves. The separation between you and your own life story. You see that your life was not something that happened to you. It was a gift you gave to yourself. The gift of forgetting so that you could have the joy of remembering. The gift of being broken so that you could know the power of becoming whole. You were never broken. You were only pretending. And the play is now over. The truth has been revealed. You are, and have always been, magnificently, divinely, and completely whole. If this journey of remembrance has helped you to heal the deepest ache of your soul, subscribe and continue to walk in this wholeness with us. The search is over. Now the dance begins.